Unknown to Hauwa, Abubakar had secrets he was also hiding from her. Hauwa hurried home, her head spinning, still giddy from the exhilaration of truly being seen. She was overjoyed at having met someone who wanted to meet again. For the first time ever, she had made a real friend, and her heart swelled with optimism and excitement about their next meeting behind the bushes. In the coming weeks, Princess Hauwa's meetings with Abubakar were the highlight of her days. Each afternoon, she would eagerly sneak away to their secret spot in the bushes, where Abubakar would already be waiting with his flute. The two new friends enjoyed long, lively conversations, telling stories and jokes that had them laughing for hours. Abubakar often picked up his flute and played sweet music, which delighted Princess Hauwa and inspired her to dance with the freedom and joy she had never known. She let go of all self-consciousness about her lingering bad breath issues when around Abubakar. He made her feel so accepted she was able to lose herself in the music. Her wild, uninhibited dancing enhanced their connection even more. One afternoon, as Princess Hauwa and Abubakar sat closely, talking and laughing as usual, he reached over and gently took both of her hands in his. Abubakar told Hauwa that he loved and cared for her deeply and wanted them to be together forever. He asked her to marry him, exclaiming his wish that their two villages could be joined through their union. Abubakar said he didn't care about royal customs or getting permission. He only knew that being with Hauwa made him truly happy, and he wanted them to build a life bonded in love. Princess Hauwa was overcome with surprise and joy at his heartfelt proposal. She cried tears of joy, having wanted nothing more than to be Abubakar's wife, but assumed it could never come to pass. Hauwa felt she didn't deserve such a wonderful man, willing to overcome all social barriers to declare his unconditional love for her. In her excitement, Hauwa threw her arms around Abubakar, whispering yes, against his handsome face and smiling lips as they shared a long, tender kiss. She had never imagined a love so sweet could be hers. When they finally pulled back, faces flushed and beaming with giddy smiles, the lovers made enthusiastic plans. Still high on new possibilities, the princess and the handsome flute boy agreed they must share the wonderful news with both of their families. Right away. They would first ask Hauwa's parents, the king and queen, for permission to marry, then travel to Abubakar's village to gain his family's approval and blessing too. The ecstatic pair clasped hands tightly as they set off on their new journey together towards forever as husband and wife. However, soon after their engagement, immense tragedy struck the villages, and Princess Hauwa's happy new world came crashing down. A deadly, fast-spreading plague swept swiftly through the countryside. The early symptoms were a raging fever, a dry cough, and skin covered in itchy rashes. Within days, those infected would go into coma, followed by difficulty breathing and death as the final stage. It was a horrific and painful way to die. In desperate efforts to contain the terrifying outbreak, the leaders of the 4 neighboring villages made the decision to completely seal off their borders. No one was permitted to travel between the towns for any reason. If villagers tried to flee, they would be captured and quarantined, or even killed on sight by fearful guards. As the plague raged on week after week, residents hid in their family homes, terrified to interact with anyone who might be infected. Friends and neighbors locked up their doors and windows, only briefly emerging for provisions before scurrying back to self-imposed isolation. For Princess Hauwa, weeks horribly turned into months of being cut off entirely from her beloved Abubakar. She was trapped within the palace as the plague circled hungrily. All Hauwa's hopeful joy at the future with Abubakar faded into a daily fear for his safety without any way to reach him. The villages remained frozen in their quarantine isolation for endless months as the plague ran its course. Abubakar and Hauwa could only pray that the other was still alive. Despite isolating herself within the royal palace, eventually, Princess Hauwa woke up one morning, feverish with a dry cough and red, itchy rashes spreading across her body. The plague had reached her. The princess grew gravely ill over the subsequent days. Her body raged in fevers so severe that her clothes and bed sheets were constantly soaked through with sweat. The crushing fatigue from fighting the illness left Hauwa too weak to even lift her head for sips of water or food. Seeing their youngest daughter suffer so much was agonizing for the king and queen. They desperately tried every traditional remedy and modern medicine the royal doctor offered up, from herbal baths to incense meant to draw out the disease. But nothing worked to ease Hauwa's worsening condition. The situation became dire as the ghostly, pale and motionless princess seemed to slip away into a coma.